I got a pocket full of money and a head full of dreams, body full of ambition, blessed to see the sunbeam. Wake up to a world where they wanna tear you down, but for everyone that hated, look at where we at now. I ain't got time to waste to act with much haste, cause when God made me, he made no mistakes. Where the focus at? What a hope for the hopeless at? It's what I stand for when I lay it on the track. And say the world need people like we, cause when I get in my zone, you cannot stop me. Call it ultimate favor or ultimate grace. I'd rather be an asset than be taking up space. There be times at night when I be sitting and vibing, getting my car, my windows down while I'm driving, thinking about how to change the world around me and try to leave it better than the way that it found me.
So welcome back to another Barber Stop. I ain't never did that ever. I ain't never did that.
It was Benny, because Benny came in here talking about you nervous. He brought the spirit in. It was him.
Hey, you already know I'm gonna override that old fool.
See what I'm saying? It wasn't me.
Here you go.
It was you.
It was Benny.
You tried to sit over here and everything.
See?
And no,
Sabotage.
That man always come out hit the first shot. Man, never did that.
Hey, I'm about to get this layup right now. What would I tell you? Give me another chance. You ready?
Yeah.
So welcome back to another show, Barber Studio Talk. And like always, to my left, Benny Chastain. To my right, Ronnie Clark. And listen, this is something that's so dear to our hearts, so special. We have somebody that's special to our community, special to me as a friend. Celeste Brown is joining us today. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And who better to have on the show than to talk about this disease, this cancer that has been plaguing our communities for so long. And I'm inspired by her journey, by her walk. We've had multiple conversations, and I think it's just time for other people to hear it on a larger scale, because she's done so much. And what I like to say is that she's turned her pain into purpose. And so would y'all please welcome me to Barber Studio Talk, Celeste Brown. We're glad to have you.
Well, I'm glad that you asked me.
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna just jump right into it, because you know if I call you on the phone, I ain't got much going on other than straight to the point, and I'm gonna be the same way today. And so my first question to you would be, is if you had to help, or if we wanted to get somebody to get help early, what would you suggest?
I would suggest if you had someone that you wanted to get some help early for, would be to contact me. If you're talking about you,
Yeah.
I'd say call me and say, hey, this is who I got, this is what's going on, and what do you know, what can you do? Honestly, that's kind of how it works majority of the time. I have friends or family members or people that I know, and they'll say, hey, I know someone that was just diagnosed, can you call them? Or can I give them your number? Or what can we send them something? What can I do? And so we do a lot of things. So I started a nonprofit called the Pink Lady. So with the Pink Lady, we give out port pillows, we give out mastectomy pillows, we give out radiation packets. Just depending on where you are in your journey. Being a breast cancer survivor, I know what you're gonna need because I've been through that journey.
Yeah.
And so, as my husband and I always say, you don't know what you need till you need it.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
so the
Yeah,
man
you're
with the tools win.
Yeah.
So if you know what you got going on, I can give you the tools to help you win.
So look, because I know these guys are eager to jump in, but I got, just from your perspective, the initial diagnosis, because I know what pain feels like to me, and I know what it looks like in my own life.
Absolutely.
But from your perspective, from your seat, what did that feel like? That had to be scary, because I remember praying for you, because you've been my girl for a minute now. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't just met you, been
Right.
knowing you a while, and I was like, man, I can't believe Celeste, and then I'm praying, but I always see you upbeat, happy, still in church.
Right.
Like, what was that like for you?
I would say diagnosis was a good check. It was a good check. It was a good punch. It was because who thinks? I mean, you see stuff. You talk to people and they say, oh, my grandma had, this and that and the third. But in your 30s, I don't expect to have breast cancer. So it was hard. If I won't lie and say in the beginning, I I went to my core, which of course is my source is the Lord, and my favorite scripture, if you know me, you know I done said it 8,500 times. Psalms 56:3. When I'm afraid, I put my trust in the Lord. And in that time in Psalms, and we won't go to church, but David.
You can take us, we okay.
But you know, David was out there, and he was like, they persecuting me. They talking, you know, and he was like, but what can man do to me if I trust God? And so I said that day, one day I said, well, I'm just gonna trust you. Track record shown me that you took me everywhere I needed to go. I mean, he's been trustworthy. He's done everything I needed. So I said, all right. They say there's no test without a testimony. No testimony without a test. I'm sorry. You know, they say, you know, why not you? And then I realized, you know, as you continue to look back on life, God has always pushed me to like kind of be a trailblazer, like kind of always do stuff a little first. And then that way I can bring you up with me. I'm the get at you girl. Like if I know something, I'm gonna tell you about it. If I know something to help you, I'm not the one that you gotta wait. I'd be like, you need to go on over there to Benny and get your hair cut. You need to go. I'm gonna put you on. You know, I'm gonna tell you what you need to know. And so I feel like the Lord feels like he can trust me. Now sometimes I do feel like he trusts me too much. I'd be like, you wanna put somebody else in the game? I mean, it's some more soldiers out here that can, you know, get off this bench. However, I do appreciate his grace. He continues to just grace me. I say this all the time. People probably think it's a cliche, but like when they say, how you doing? I be like, I woke up. The Lord is good. Like I woke up and everything worked. That's good. What else can we complain about? So I would say when it came to this time and this journey, this was a new monster. This was something I had never seen before. None of my friends had ever seen it before. And so I was like, all right, well, here we go. Let's figure out how we finna do this and what we about to do. So my husband and I and a few core friends sat around and we discussed how I'm finna move through this. And so the first thing I just said is it won't be a pity party. You won't be woe is me. It won't be none of those things because, you know, the Lord says that you know, the things will come, but he gonna take me through. And he's always taking me through. So I was like, well, I said I was gonna trust you. So here we are. So my prayer request was at the time, I said, if you minimize my side effects, I'll tell everybody. I'll be the poster. I will be the pinkest girl you can ever find. I will do the things. I will share the message because I think that's why he entrusted it with me, because he knew I'd share it.
Wow. I think you kind of elaborated on the mental state and through all of that right there. If you can kind of give us the diagnosis when you were going through it and like what stage, like we can kind of see what you're going through on the physical side, but right. We don't understand like, okay, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. If you can kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
So there are technically 4 stages. There is a stage 0. So some people can get it kind of like preseason of football, you know, a little bit beforehand. There are the 4 stages. So your first stage is fairly small. You've caught it very early, typically. Majority of the time in stage 1, you typically have no lymph nodal involvement. So it's not in your lymph nodes where it's traveling throughout your body. Stage 2, basically that's just the size of the tumor. So the tumor just starts to get a little bit bigger. In 3, you're even bigger, and 4, you're even bigger than that. And so those are the kind of the stages. I was diagnosed with stage 1 triple negative breast cancer. And so there are different type of subtypes of breast cancer as well. Triple negative is the most aggressive form, and it's typically found in Black women and Hispanic women. Typically, if it's not found early, it's usually fatal. You usually pass away because it's not found early enough. And so one of the reasons it's so aggressive is because they don't really know exactly where it comes from. So breast cancer, you can be HER2 positive, which is a hormone that's in your body, of course, estrogen positive, progesterone positive, or you can be HER2 positive. And so you can have all those, or you can be the negatives, or however, so there's different subtypes. However, triple negative is the most aggressive. So typically, I know when I met with my surgeon, he was like, don't Google it. Because he was like, you're going to think you're going to die. Well, I Googled it. And I thought I was going to die. So I was like, oh, wow. You see what I'm saying? And they sell them at Walmart. No. But I did. I was like, okay. But then I kept remembering that's not what the Lord told me. Like, he didn't say I was gonna die. Like, he's pretty. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance because I'm his favorite child. Mm-hmm. So he tells me all the things first, and so he So I'm his. I'm favorite. So that's not what he told me. So I really didn't.
Buy into it.
Yeah, my faith was pretty strong, and I was like, I'm just too young, too active, and I was like, this ain't finna be it. This is not finna be it. And plus, I'd already told the Lord I want to be 90-something on the porch, talking about the old days, and then I want to go to sleep and die. That's how it's gonna work. That's what we're doing. So nonetheless, I would say it was probably a little depression for a little bit, trying to figure out what's this mean, what's this look like. At the time, I had a son that was about to be a senior in high school. I got a daughter that's going to be a 9th grade cheerleader in high school as well. And so I got big kids that I'm like, I can't lead them. I mean, it ain't, this ain't what we about to do. And so I think once I got into my word, I got into that core group of people. Now, I tell everybody, now you need your friends. Now you need your people in your corner that not only believe in God, but believe in you and believe in like anything you want to do. And so like my friends will push me. Oh no, you got this. Oh no, you're not. Keep on. If I thought if I'd say, I think my toe hurt today. It's fine. Keep on. You right, it is fine. You right, it, because it's a mindset. Everything is a perspective. And so once I decided what my perspective was going to be, my perspective was, I'm finna make it through this. I'm finna show people that you can do it and be cute. We're going to do a whole photo shoot and rock this whole bald head and do the whole thing. Was out there, head was shining. You hear it? Shining. The wind was cold. I understand now. When the men be out here with their hats on, I understand. That it be cold, and then when you start sweating, it just start dripping. So yes, I did. It was a different experience. And so I would say just to go through the complete journey, it never ends if you be honest, because life after cancer sometimes can be just as hard as life during the treatments. Because after cancer, you're worried about recurrence. You're still doing testing. You're still just trying to make sure that you stand on top of everything because you don't want it to come back. Because typically when you have a recurrence, that's when it can be, sometimes a little bit more fatal. So I would say the whole thing itself, I was blessed to have a few friends, unfortunately, that was going through it around the same time. So they were just a little bit ahead of me. So when I kind of started chemo, they were ending. When I started radiation, they were ending. So they could say, hey, do this. Don't forget this. You're going to need this. They could tell me what to do because it was just right there and it was fresh. And so I just kind of took all of the stuff that they said do. And this one lady, she said, every day you get up. I don't care how you feel. And she said, you get up and you move. She was like, don't stay in the bed is the devil. You get up and you move, because how you say you feel is how you feel. Because we speak those things as though they are. Mm-hmm. And so I would get up and say, it's a great day. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Regardless of how you feel.
It's a great day. I woke up. Man, some people didn't wake up today.
Yes, indeed.
So if I can still wake up and still okay, I don't have no hair, whatever, I still woke up. I was still able to go to the gym. I was still able to go to work. I didn't miss a day of work. Well, I did. I would do my treatments on Thursdays. I would take off on that Friday. at work on Monday. At the football game on Friday.
No excuses. No excuses.
And I had the pleasure of just watching it. And so that's the part that's always that I always think back on, because I saw the photo shoot of you and your girls in the boxing ring with the pink gloves on. And,
I remember that too.
And so I'm trying not to get choked up about it, because life hits everybody
At different times.
in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know that during that season, the encouragement I got from just watching you, because you were still at church too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you were side effect free. I don't know what it was like, but I'm like, man, if she could just get up and still be mama,
Right.
still be wife,
Mm-hmm.
still be servant, man, what am I complaining about? And so that's why I think it's important for us to have you on and highlight your journey, because I don't think that I need somebody popular to come
Right.
and impact me.
Mm-hmm.
We got people doing great stuff in our community. I've told you before, like, that season of your life wasn't just for you.
All right.
Because when you think about it, Cam had to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter
did.
had to, she had to see this.
Mm-hmm.
The man that you love, that's the head of the house, he had to live it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, I know it's hard, but to see them hold it together was encouraging. And it encouraged me to just know, man, God is faithful, he can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you for finishing, getting on the other side of it. And so when we talk about turning purpose,
Pain into
into
purpose.
purpose. Because most people go through stuff and they hide.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't want to. I'm bald. I done had to shave my head. I ain't showing nobody. I don't want to be seen. But you were open about it. What was that about? What is that? What was that journey like to you?
Well, I hid for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I will say when I did the surgery, I don't think not many outside of my family knew about that. So for a minute, because I thought that'd be it. Oh, I'll do the surgery, be done. I remember I came to church. I sang on the praise team, and the shirt read, "His grace is sufficient." I remember that Sunday. And I usually would sing with the mic in this hand, and just kind of, but boy, I couldn't raise this arm.
Right.
And so, but I was like, if I keep doing this thing, so I was like, let me just hold the mic with this hand, and then I could, worship with the other. But I remember vividly saying, wow, they just worshiping freely and no one knows. And so that's where the grace keeps coming back in, because it is so many people walking around with so much stuff, so much physical hurt, emotional hurt, all the things, and no one knows. And we just carry it well, we camouflage it well, and we keep on moving. And so within that, I wanted to be we don't have to do that. We don't always have to be in silos. We weren't created like that. We were created to be interdependent. I should depend on you for some things. Now I'm gonna be independent, but we were created to also be interdependent. So I need you. I mean, there's some things that you got that I don't have. I can't line my hair well. I just can't. I need, you just, but everybody has their different gifts. And so I think that what God does in these moments where we are faced with adversity, we're faced with challenges, I think change requires change, right? But also change begets change. Once you change, you have to change. You just have to. And so I think I decided, in our community, especially in Black communities, we're so secretive.
That is true. Most definitely.
We secretive about everything. We secretive about the family history. We secretive about the medical history. We don't talk about none of the things, right? And we say what happens in the house stays in the house. But most of this stuff really not just happening in the house. It's happening outside, it's spilling everywhere, and we're not helping one another. And we're just like, oh, we'll just keep it a secret. So I'm like, no, here it is. It is what it is, and this is what it is, and I'm fine. You are too. So sometimes people need to see it, like you said, from a common person or from a person you see around, or a person in a community. Like, if she could do it, then I could do that too. If she can get up, I could do it too. Like, why not? So I think it's just about us all changing our perspective. I think we live in a society now where we're also self-consumed and self-centered, and we just worried about social media and the likes and the clicks and the clickbaits. But at the end of the day, if we just go back to touching each other and doing heart checks, like, all this stuff will be so much better.
That's real.
So is there anybody on your journey with the early detection that you always talk about that you were able to help with that?
Mm-hmm. I think majority, but one of my favorites is a young girl was 19. She was 19 or 20. She was diagnosed, and she was going to the University of Texas, I believe. And her mom called and was like, one of those Facebook calls, like, called me through Facebook, and was like, I just need to talk to you right now. So I was like, okay, what is it? And so she says, and of course, she's like, it's my daughter. Like, I have a 20-year-old. I cannot imagine my 20-year-old going through breast cancer. And I believe, if I remember correctly, she was maybe stage 2 or 3. But she graduated with her bald head. She went through the whole thing. And when I say, like, she is living her best life right now, living her best life. But the point was, she was laying there doing a self-exam. And as she was rubbing, she said, oh, something don't feel right. So she was like, hey, you be posting that, what I'm supposed to do? So that's where I think the proof is in the pudding. Like, I think we all want to be educated. We want to know. We just need somebody to just stop and tell us.
Yeah. And so, I guess I'm gonna just ask all the questions.
I'm gonna let RC go.
I mean, you ain't got nothing, because I can keep going now.
I have a question.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because I've been sitting here waiting to ask you this. How did this experience change you and your family? Because I know, I was training a lady who actually her husband was bringing her to train with me. She had cancer, but she wasn't coming to train. She was just coming to be in that building with me. And I didn't want to take their money. I was like, because I'm not equipped to do this. But God said, yes, you are equipped to do it. And I would get up every day, and it changed me being in there. And she just wanted to do the normal things that I was doing, eat the food that I was eating. So how did it change you and your family? Like, did it bring y'all closer?
I think the first thing, definitely closer at that time, because of course, like, I'm in treatment as well. So we're not having as many people over to the house, because I don't want to get sick. Right. It's like I didn't want to get sick to where I couldn't do all the things that I wanted to still be able to keep as normal as possible for my high schoolers. They're in high school, so I'm trying to keep life as possible, as normal as possible. And so that's for sure. But the other thing was, with me being triple negative, the nerd in me just started looking, and as I started looking into all the beauty products and all the stuff we use at our house, everything had carcinogens in it. So those are cancer-causing agents, right? Okay. So when I looked at everything basically in my bathroom, everything in my laundry room, everything in my kitchen, it had a carcinogen in it or something of that nature. So we went through the whole house. Like, we changed everything, from everything we use on our bodies to, now you're going to still get some, right? You still going to get dirty. You might take a bath every day, but you still get dirty. So you're still going to get some dirt. but we try to lower the amount of carcinogens that in our bodies. So I recall right before I was diagnosed, maybe 2 or 3 months before that, I went to the MEA for just something, and I said something about a boil under my arm, and he was like, "Oh, it's probably the aluminum in your deodorant." And he was like, "It's linked to breast cancer," and da 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 da. And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Why ain't nobody ever told me that? Like all my years of life, why no one has ever said that?" Of course, I started Googling, and then like, yeah, that is a thing. So we switched all of our deodorants at that time. And then when I started really looking into everything, I mean, from my soap to my lotion, everything, like it just had something in it that could cause cancer. And so so what we just had to do is really just, and it really was a headache for my kids, I would say, definitely, to this day, because like, they'll be doing stuff and I'll be like, you can't, we don't use that. Because I'm just more aware now. And so I say everybody make your choices, but just be aware, like just aware of the things. So we use mostly glass at our house. You won't find Tupperware. You won't find, usually have stainless steel or, you know, like those things that we use other than what's popular. In the feminine world, like all the feminine products, they're gonna be all natural, because in honesty, they put trash in maxi pads and tampons and plastics, and so that's why the ladies have all the issues half the time, because of the stuff we're using for convenience is causing us more harm than good. So just for example, a couple weeks ago, we were at the pool, and my grandbaby, they was putting her on some sunscreen. If you ever around me, you ever use anything, I'd be like, let me see that. So I was like, let me see it. So I turned over the back and started reading the ingredients, and I was like, nope, and so threw it in trash. We can't use this anymore. Like, don't ever put that on her again. So I explained to them why, and so it had parabens in it. So any ingredient, if you're looking at ingredients at the back, if it has a paraben in it, that's it's like an endocrine interrupter. So it mimics estrogen in your body. And so it causes, so a lot of breast cancers have parabens in them. So when they extract out, you know, the stuff in the tumors, there are parabens that are found in them. And so it had probably 4 or 5 of them. Like not just one, it was several different types that were in there. And so from there, I was like, well, we can't use that anymore, you know? And so it's just about being a little bit more aware of what we're using, what we're consuming, what we put on our bodies. So I would definitely say that changed us totally. Like my lipstick is vegan. Just everything is pretty much.
Now you going where I was going? What I was going to ask, the natural side of it.
Yeah.
Like listen, I ain't joking. My deodorant is different now because of her.
Yeah.
Like I sent her messages years ago. Can I use? Nope. Let me send you what you. Let me send you what you can use. And I'm talking about when she told me what, I order a bunch of it from Amazon. I get the whole thing.
Put you on.
But you know what's crazy though? They make cancer. If you don't educate yourself about cancer, because my mom is a cancer survivor, they make it seem like it just falls out of the sky. You know, people just think it just happens. No, it's a.
No, I mean, if you really just think about these chicken, like if the last time you had a drumstick somewhere, chicken's legs, like they don't look like
big
that.
chicken scare me.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Bruh, big chicken strips.
Man, listen, dog.
Oh my
What is
God.
that?
When I go to Popeyes and these folks give me that big man,
I don't want that.
Bro, I be like, no, give me one that look like a baby.
That chicken is not that big.
And I'm with it. But you give me a big chicken strip, I'm like sending that back.
Because where did they come from?
Right.
What did they inject it with? What it, you know? And we do live in a society where we want stuff quick. We want it quick, fast, but the downside of it is we're having more people with cancer. You're having like so much more now. Yes, but if you think about our great grandparents, our ancestors that was farmed to the table, they weren't sick like us. They ain't have none of these
And they were
problems.
feeding that hog
Yes.
slop. They were feeding that hog, but they knew what that hog was eating. Man.
So check this out. Let me ask you this. Because I know you do a test, and I know you brought some stuff with you that we can detect what that feel like. You know what I'm talking about? Can you share that with us?
Yeah. So when I do my presentations, now I have, bigger size. So I give you one for each.
And this legal now,
yeah.
so don't call the police and say nothing crazy.
So what is this?
I'm pink. So this is a breast mold or a model, better yet. And so what we do, what Pink Lady, I love to do is just education. I just want to tell you, and so then also for men, most men don't know, men can get breast cancer as well. And so you have to feel your if your pecs start picking out, rub on them and see if they're the same. Sometimes they can be.
Black folks call them a rising.
They call them boils as well, but that a lot of times comes from deodorant. It's probably whatever deodorant you're using. But we're going to get back on the topic. Yeah. So early detection saved my life. And so I want everyone to know about early detection. So every woman and every man, at least after, puberty, I'd say 20. But they say probably I think it's maybe 21 or 18. I don't know. But anyhow, around that college time, start checking. Okay. So even men, although it's not prostate, awareness month, but that as well. You just have to check them. And so I say, know your body. So once you know your body, you can know when you need to go and do something different. So for women that do their breast exam, they should do them every month. They should lay down, preferably on a on the bed, or you can do it in the shower. You should always raise one arm, and so whichever one you're not raising is to be the one that you would, that you would check. But here you can press gently, and you should feel a lump. And so that's almost about how mine felt, if I'm honest.
That's scary. They're going to send me to the hospital if I felt that.
Well, you'll be amazed at the number that don't. Yes, they'll feel stuff for a while. And
just be checking that don't feel right.
Well, and honestly, when I felt mine the first day, I said,
go away.
I don't know what I felt. I was like, I don't know what that was. And so I did it again. And after I did it again, I was like, I'm going to call my doctor and see. And so with that, you get to feel exactly kind of what it feels like. Now, some women have fibrocystic breasts. So their breasts have little knots and things in them. They just got to know theirs. You got to know what yours feel like and how yours normally are. And so you feel that. But there's also the reason why we stress mammograms. Every woman should get a mammogram every year when you 40 and over. But if you pull up yours, you should be able to see all the way at the top. There's going to be a little dot. Yeah. And so that's what they find when you're in a mammogram. So if you feel that area, you don't feel anything. So there's some lumps that are in there. I had a classmate that had inflammatory breast disease. So she never had a lump, but she had breast cancer. And so what happened was her breast started growing, one just really started growing, and it was painful. So she was like, let me see what it is. And so once she did that, she was able to figure out that it was also breast cancer. So that's why we stress the breast exams as well as getting the mammograms.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm always honored whenever it's our people, right, that's making the impact, making a difference. And like I mentioned earlier whenever we started, I want to be able to, for this show, I want to be able to highlight people that are doing great stuff in our community, because what I believe happens so much is we have this popularity bias, where if somebody popular said it, they on TV,
right,
they must be right. But I'm more drawn to the people that I know, like you, the people that I've seen go through life, deal with life, and come out on the other side. So this is an honor for us to have you on this show, have you tell your story in some capacity, be open to share. But there are other things that you do, right, within the community. I mean, I'm a Pink Lady partier, right, if I could say it like that. So in October we get out, right?
Oh, now
so
there's a party. There's a party with
that?
a purpose, as we call it, a party with a purpose. So Pink Friday every year we host. That's kind of the annual fundraiser to get the funds to do, because everything Pink Lady does is free of charge. I don't charge anybody for anything. So we make all the port pillows. I do order right now the mastectomy pillows, the drain bag holders, and all those things. So all the stuff, the supplies, and everything that we do to mail it out, or when I'm meeting people on the road or whatever I do. I do ship them, so it doesn't matter if you live in Mississippi or not. The only place I'm not shipping to anymore is Canada, because that was very expensive. No, it was Australia. I did send one to Australia.
Wow.
That was pretty
People all
expensive.
over the world.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't care who you are, red, yellow, black, or white. As long as you have breast cancer, we want to send you information. So the information we send is like how to thrive doing chemo. Like if you have to do chemotherapy, it's like the tips. Like this is what you do to make sure that you can keep on moving every day. If you're doing radiation, this is what you do. This is what you're going to need. This is what's going to help you. If you're doing a mastectomy, it's amazing. All the muscles, I mean, you know, all the muscles that's up here. Once you can't use them, it's almost like you feel like you can't do anything. It's like I can't do anything because I can't use any of these muscles. So that's where the mastectomy pillows come in at, because the ladies get to hold on to those. So I just love to love on people. My motto is show your love, so I try to always show my love. God has given me so much grace, so I like to gift grace as when I can. And I want everybody to check themselves, know your bodies, and get yearly exams. Us black folks gotta go back to getting those yearly exams.
Especially men.
Man, gotta do them.
So what date is the party
It is October 20th at the train depot.
at the train depot? And so if people wanted to connect with you, how do they get in touch?
They can
with you?
find me on my website at thepinklady.org. I'm on all the social media. There's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, thepinklady.org. And so you can find me there. But in October, I'll be somewhere talking to somebody, hopefully, all the time about breast cancer and what we need to do in our community. But I appreciate y'all for spreading the word.
Yeah, so is there anything you would share before we close out today?
I would definitely share self-exams and self-exams. And after you do your self-exam, go get a mammogram.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say is get a cancer policy. There's some freedom in a cancer policy.
Yeah, you're right. So listen, that wraps us up for the day. I think we all left better, leaving encouraged, knowing that we got a sister in our community that's really out here making a difference. And so we're just honored to have her on the Barber Studio Talk. So go like, go share, look her up, go follow her. If you got questions, make sure you ask, right? She's an open book. She's not going to shy away from anything that she has to share with you, because ultimately she wants her story to impact your life like it did ours. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Go like, subscribe, and share to the channel.
Sitting and vibing, getting my car, my windows down while I'm driving, thinking about how to change the world around me and try to leave it better than the way that it found me.